Hey everybody, Independent Herald Publisher Ben Garrett here, and just wanted to jump on real quick and kind of fill you in on what we're doing. As we did back in April, on April the 2nd, when the severe weather hit and the tornado hit into Sunbright, we are just trying to bring you a little bit of information to help you stay safe. If indeed severe weather develops over the northern Cumberland Plateau this evening, there's no guarantee that it's going to, but it's expected to. And so you're not going to hear from me very much, but I did want to, instead of you just looking at a screen with music playing in the background, kind of jump on and just tell you what this is all about. Basically, you're going to be looking at a radar picture most of the time, and then we'll throw up some other information, tweets and such that are relevant. Basically, you're looking at everything that we're looking at as we sit here and kind of monitor the severe weather situation as it unfolds. Right now, you can see on the radar things are quiet here on the Cumberland Plateau. In fact, they're as quiet now as they have been all day. We had a very small thunderstorm that popped up over Winfield just a little while ago. That has now since moved off to Williamsburg and is starting to dissipate. Other than that, things are calm. It's dry outside right now. If you're looking for the potential for severe weather a little bit later on today, right here is where you're going to want to look. Upstream, around Smithville, McMinnville. The weather that's developing in that area is what will eventually move off to the northeast and impact us here in Oneida, Huntsville, Winfield, Robinson, Scott County. Right now, there's not a lot coming our way, but there's nothing to say that that cannot change. The National Weather Service has highlighted the northern Cumberland Plateau. That includes Scott County, Morgan County, also Campbell County. They have highlighted our area as kind of their top area of concern as we get into this evening from 6 to 10 p.m. And again, this is from the National Weather Service in Morristown. Large hail, strong winds, isolated tornadoes, all possible across the northern Cumberland Plateau this evening, beginning at 6 p.m. We've also been watching the Storm Prediction Center, which is another division of the National Weather Service. So they're located in Norman, Oklahoma. The Storm Prediction Center is what is responsible for issuing all severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches. Right now, there are no watches in place for us here in Scott County. There is a tornado watch in effect for Fentress County until 10 p.m. Eastern time tonight. There was a severe thunderstorm watch that was in effect for Scott County a little bit earlier today that has since expired. So right now, no watches in place for our area in Scott County. If that changes, those watches will be issued by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. To get back to my thought, where I was originally headed with that, the Storm Prediction Center is watching this area of Tennessee outside the tornado watch that has already been issued for Fentress County, for Pickett County, and sources back in that direction. And they're kind of keeping an eye on it in case they need to extend those watches eastward, and we anticipate that they will. We think that tornado watches will be issued for probably most of East Tennessee as we go through the evening hours, and I'm going to show you why. If you look at the radar, we've been showing you this radar, and everything's quiet. Really, east of Nashville, for the most part, everything is quiet. But then if you slide back to the west just a little bit, this is what is headed our way, and you can see that there are multiple tornado warnings currently in effect west of Nashville for places like Dixon and Fairview, Columbia, those areas right there in the Nashville metro area, just south of Nashville, getting ready to be under the gun for potential tornadoes here in just a moment or just a few minutes. Want to show you something else as well, and this is model data. This is one model, and it runs every hour. It's called the HRRR model. It runs every hour. It's a short-term model. It's very accurate. And this is what is called updraft helicity. And basically, updraft helicity is a measure of rotation within thunderstorms as they develop. And so you can see over Scott County. I know that's kind of small on your screen, but if you look at Scott County and the northern Cumberland Plateau, you can see this model depicts that later on this evening. This is for 10 p.m. by the way. This model is depicting that there will be rotating supercells over Scott County. Anytime you have a supercell that is rotating, you've got the potential, not a guarantee, but the potential for a tornado. And again, this is one model. It updates every hour. As a matter of fact, this image is now dated. That model has since updated again, and it shifts the more ominous data south of Scott County, keeps it over Morgan County. but it changes every hour. Earlier today, it was showing a quiet evening for Scott County. Then it changed to show more of a rough ride for us this evening. Now maybe it's starting to change again. So it will change throughout the day. That's to be expected. But I wanted to show you that to let you know that while everything is quiet right now, there's no guarantee that it's going to stay that way. So I just wanted to jump on here and give you an update. And with that, I'm going to slide aside and let you enjoy that elevator music that was playing a moment ago. Feel free to jump in and out of this live stream throughout the evening. We will be here live with this video as long as conditions warrant, and hopefully things don't get rough. But if they do, we'll be keeping an eye on it. And again, about 6 p.m. is when things are expected to start to deteriorate here over the Cumberland Plateau. So we'll keep an eye on it. In the meantime, if you're not watching our live stream, you can also follow us on Twitter. Independent Herald on Twitter. It's at Ind Herald, IND Herald. That's where you can get all the latest information. And we try to update Facebook as well, but Twitter tends to be more of a favorable tool, just kind of quick, rapid fire information. And so that's where we put the latest updates. So be sure to follow us there as well. So with that said, everybody stay safe. Can you hear me, Greg? So all that talking I just did was for naught because I had my mic turned down and forgot to turn it back up. And Greg Bond sends me about 15 text messages in the meantime. But this is why, if you ever watch the I8 Sports Network, that's why we have Greg Bond on board because he can sit in the background and hit his little buttons and take care of this stuff. I didn't have Greg Bond on board for this. That was my problem. So anyway, let me go back and go through what I just said all over again. And basically, I was just saying that a tornado watch has been issued now for Scott County and Morgan County, Campbell County, and the rest of basically the Cumberland Plateau region. And so when I was on a few minutes ago, I said that there had not been a watch that was issued yet for East Tennessee, including Scott County, but that those would probably come later. We just didn't expect them to come as quickly as they did. And so the Storm Prediction Center, while I was talking, did issue the tornado watch for Scott County. And that is now in effect. We'll take a look at it. This is Tornado Watch 211. Tornado Watch 211 is in effect for basically the Cumberland Plateau, extending all the way over to about the Knoxville area. It is in effect until midnight tonight. So the western part of the Cumberland Plateau and most of West Tennessee, or at least northern West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, I should say, northern Middle Tennessee, was under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock Eastern time. And now the Cumberland Plateau, parts of the western part of the Tennessee Valley, under a tornado watch until midnight tonight. That just issued shortly before 5:30 by the Storm Prediction Center. And so again, if you're looking at the radar, all is quiet here on the northern Cumberland Plateau, as quiet as it has been all day. We did see some severe weather earlier this morning. We did not expect that. We expected rain, maybe some light thunderstorms this morning. However, most of us woke up to severe weather, some power outages up in the Kingtown area around Winfield. Matter of fact, Plateau Electric Cooperative has been working on some power outages throughout the day in Scott County and in Morgan County. Most of those have been small. I think the most recent one in Scott County was on Highway 27 corridor in Robbins, right along the 3-lane area there north of Old Highway 27 in Robbins, and I think that outage has since been restored. And so right now everything is quiet. If you're looking at your radar, though, you see this storm just north of Knoxville, just north of Crossville, I should say. It just crossed Interstate 40. This was part of a complex that has been moving up from McMinnville, and we've been watching this strengthen just a little bit, and now we're watching a cell really start to take shape just north of the Crossville area. There are no warnings associated with this cell right now. And that will probably, if it holds together, and these storms tend to pulse and dissipate and strengthen and whatnot, and if it does hold together, it probably is going to impact at least the southern part of Scott County eventually, maybe somebody between Robbins and Huntsville within the next couple of hours, 90 minutes or so. If we slide back to the west, well, this is what we're keeping an eye on and what we're waiting on. This is the main event that is headed our way probably around midnight tonight, give or take. There are 2 active tornado warnings in effect right now. For this area out west of Nashville, one just to the west of Columbia, and another one that is now moving in on Ashland City in the Nashville metro area. But a whole lot of severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect right now for this stretch all the way from the Kentucky border to the Alabama border and now moving into the Nashville metro area. And again, all this is going to continue to slide east, and this is what will eventually impact us a little bit later on tonight. That is the main event. However, the National Weather Service does expect conditions to start to deteriorate between 6 and 10 p.m. over our area, this area right here, Huntsville, Oneida, Jamestown, La Follette, Sunbright, Wartburg, Crossville, between 6 and 10 p.m. And right on cue, you've got this small cell that's building right now north of Crossville, heading north towards Sunbright, and eventually will probably wind up in Scott County as well if it holds together. So that is the latest for now, and if we have any other updates, I'll slide back in. But in the meantime, we will be live as long as conditions warrant. You can also follow along on Twitter for all the latest updates. That's where we tend to put things as conditions are breaking. We update Facebook as much as we can, but you can always find the latest on Twitter. So everybody stay safe. All right, y'all, let me real quickly give you an update what's going on here. It is, as you can see on the radar, and if you've been watching the radar, this has been the case for a couple of hours now. It's really quiet over the northern Cumberland Plateau. When we were watching this one little lone cell just north of Crossville, right along Interstate 40, it kind of pulsed real quickly, and then it died out just as quickly, and it is completely dissipated now. And so this area we're watching from Gordonsville, Smithfield, Cookville, McMinnville, down towards Sparta. This is where the outflow boundary is located from some storms earlier today that we really thought was going to trigger additional thunderstorms over our area of the northern Cumberland Plateau this evening. The National Weather Service certainly thought that as well. They've been sounding the alarm on storm development between 6 and 10 p.m. out ahead of this main line of storms that's now entering the Nashville area as we speak. So far, though, as you can see on radar, it is exceptionally quiet. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to see some development. It is still early in the evening, but the further we go, and as this outflow boundary continues to work its way eastward and to weaken, the chances increase that we're going to escape this first round without seeing any storm development here over the northern plateau. Now, the main event, right around midnight, that's yet to come. We'll see what happens with that. And again, there is still the potential that we could see some storms develop out ahead of that main event between now and then. Maybe about 7:45, 8 o'clock, there's some signs that we might see some development right about that time here in the Oneida area. So we'll keep an eye on that, but there's really no point in keeping this going in the meantime unless something starts to pop up. So I want to slide back one more time. You can see things are still really active out to the west of Nashville, right in the Nashville metro area now. Springfield was the area in Robertson County up north of Nashville that got hit by the tornado earlier this afternoon. They're under the gun again, or have been under the gun again. That cell is now passed just to the east of Springfield. Tornado warnings are out there just north of Hendersonville as well. There's also a tornado warning for Columbia. I don't think there have been tornadoes confirmed on the ground with either of those two storms. So far, the only confirmed tornado was that Robertson County tornado from earlier this afternoon. There are numerous thunderstorm warnings out with this line of storms as they move into the Nashville area. There is up in Tompkinsville, Kentucky. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for a cell there as well. There's one lone tornado warning a little further up into Kentucky, a little north of Hopkinsville near Greenville. And again, all this activity continuing to slide to the east and northeast, and it will impact us here on the Cumberland Plateau in just a few hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to step aside, eat supper, and if we see development ahead of this main line of storms, and if it looks like these storms are going to become strong to severe, and any storm that develops tonight can certainly become severe in a hurry, if that happens, we'll jump back on and keep you updated with what's going on. And if not, stay safe, keep an eye on the weather, and expect things to get pretty rough maybe the next 3 to 4 hours or so.